I have served the Thyrene hegemony for 43 years. I have studied every war this civilization has fought, across 12,000 years of recorded history. I have written tactical doctrines that our fleet commanders still use today. I have analyzed the strategies of 9 conquered species, predicted the outcomes of campaigns before the first ship ever fired, and built my entire career on one simple belief, that war is a science, and that the Thyrene have mastered it completely. I was wrong. I am standing in front of the most powerful military leaders in the hegemony, 12 fleet marshals, 20 admirals. The room is buried deep beneath the capital, shielded by 300 meters of reinforced stone and energy barriers that could stop an orbital bombardment. These are the beings who control the largest military force in the known galaxy, and I am about to tell them something that will make all of that meaningless. 3 cycles ago, Patrol Fleet Garon, 46 warships, 11,000 crew, entered the Garon corridor on a routine border sweep. They sent their standard check-in signals for the first 2 days. On the 3rd day, the signals stopped, not gradually, not with static or distortion, or the telltale energy burst of a ship coming apart. They simply stopped, all 46 at once, as if someone had reached out and turned them off like a light. We sent search teams. They found nothing. And I do not mean they found wreckage too scattered to identify, or debris fields too faint to track. I mean they found nothing. The space where 46 warships had been was empty, clean. There was not a single bolt, not a frozen body, not even the faintest trace of particulate matter that would suggest anything had ever been there at all. The admirals have been told this much already. What they have not been told is why. That is my job today. A human warship was in that corridor, I say. The room goes very, very quiet. I should explain what humans are, for context. They are a young species from a small system orbiting a yellow star in an unremarkable arm of the galaxy. They have fragile bodies, short lifespans, and a civilization that is barely a fraction of the age of our own. When we first encountered them, our assessment teams classified them as a Category 3 emerging civilization. That is the second lowest designation we have. It means they were considered worth watching but not worth worrying about. That classification has never been updated in our official records. I have submitted 17 formal requests to revise it over the past 5 years. Every single one has been denied. No one in this government wants to put on paper what humans actually are, because doing so would mean admitting that 12,000 years of Thyrene supremacy might not matter anymore. But I am getting ahead of myself. Let me show them the pattern first. 5 years ago, a hegemony scout ship disappeared near a disputed border system. Our sensors logged a faint energy signature just before contact was lost, but the signature matched nothing in our databases. It was filed as an anomaly and forgotten. 8 months later, a Relari smuggling convoy vanished in open space. 12 ships, no wreckage. 2 months after that, an Osuvian raider flotilla, 8 armed warships, went silent in the middle of a transmission. The last fragment of audio we recovered was not an alarm, not a scream, not the sound of hull plating tearing apart. It was simply the absence of sound, as if the transmission itself had been swallowed by something. I have mapped every disappearance over the past 5 years. There are 37 confirmed incidents across 6 species. The pattern is unmistakable once you see it. Every single one occurred within 3 light years of a confirmed or suspected human vessel transit route. But here is the detail that keeps me awake at night. In every case, human ships were spotted in or near the area before the disappearance. They arrived, they passed through, they left. And then, sometime later, whatever else was in that region simply ceased to exist. The humans were never present during the event itself. They were always already gone, as if they had simply left something behind. And in every case, the follow-up teams found the same thing. Nothing. Not scattered remains, not energy ghosts, not even the gravitational echoes that a cluster of ships would leave in local space-time. The space was clean in a way that space should not be clean. It was as if the ships had never existed at all. Our intelligence division did manage to obtain one piece of evidence from the Garon corridor. A listening post on the corridor's edge captured a partial sensor recording, before it too went offline. The recording shows our patrol fleet's transponder signatures, all 46 of them, holding formation exactly as ordered. Then it shows a single incoming contact. The contact was small. By our standards, it was roughly frigate-sized. One ship against 46. The recording shows the human vessel did not accelerate toward our fleet. It did not charge any weapons systems. It did not broadcast any communication. It simply existed in the same region of space as our ships. For 11 seconds, both the human vessel and our entire patrol fleet appeared on sensors together. Then the fleet was gone. I need to be precise about this. The fleet was not destroyed. There was no energy discharge, no detonation, no expanding cloud of superheated gas. The 46 transponder signatures, the energy outputs of 46 fusion cores, the gravitational micro-displacements caused by 46 warships occupying physical space, all of it vanished in a single instant. One frame of sensor data showed a fleet. The next frame showed empty space. The human vessel remained on sensors for another 4 seconds. Then it too disappeared, but in the normal way, with the characteristic signature of a standard faster-than-light jump. I play the recording for the admirals. I watch their faces. I have known some of these beings for decades. I have seen them remain calm during the worst crises our civilization has faced. Right now, none of them are calm. My team has developed 3 theories about what happened. The first theory is that the human ship displaced our fleet out of normal spacetime entirely. Not destroyed, removed, translated into some parallel layer of reality, some fold in the fabric of space that we do not have the physics to describe. This would explain the absence of wreckage perfectly. There is no wreckage, because nothing was broken. The ships may still be intact, still crewed, still powered. They are simply somewhere else. Somewhere they cannot return from. The second theory is that the human ship projected a field that accelerated the natural decay of matter to an unimaginable degree. Our ships aged billions of years in an instant. Metal became dust. Dust became atoms. Atoms became nothing. The ships did not come apart. They simply eroded out of existence, the way a mountain erodes over millennia, compressed into a single heartbeat. The third theory is the one I believe, and it is the simplest and the most terrifying. I believe humans have developed technology based on principles that we do not have any framework to understand, not because they are older than us or smarter than us in some measurable way, but because they think differently. Every elder species in this galaxy developed its weapons along the same predictable path: kinetic projectiles, then thermal weapons, then nuclear, then plasma, then antimatter. We all walked the same road, because we all saw the same road. Humans looked at the universe and found a door that the rest of us never even noticed was there. And whatever is on the other side of that door, it lets a single small ship erase a fleet from reality. We are not facing a stronger version of ourselves. We are facing something that does not play the same game. I want to tell the admirals one more thing before they respond. 2 years ago, I attended a diplomatic function where a human ambassador visited our capital. She was a small, soft-bodied female with a friendly smile. She negotiated trade terms, made reasonable concessions, and laughed politely at a Therine diplomat's attempt at humor. She was, by every measure, pleasant and unremarkable. But I noticed something during her visit that I have never forgotten. Her security escort, just 2 human soldiers in light armor, walked through the corridors of our most fortified government complex, and every single Therine guard they passed stepped back. Not consciously, not on purpose. It was instinctive, automatic. The way a small creature on any world will move away from the scent of something that could end it without effort. I asked one of our guards about it afterward. He was a decorated veteran of 3 campaigns. He could not explain why he had moved. He just said, something felt wrong, like standing next to a capped reactor. Nothing is happening, but you know what is inside. That is what frightens me most. Not the weapon, not the disappearances. The fact that even on a biological level, something deep inside us recognizes what our pride refuses to accept. I also need to tell them about the warning. 3 days before the Garan corridor incident, our deep space communication array intercepted a transmission broadcast on all standard frequencies. It was short, automated, and in the universal trade language, it said, Terran Naval Vessel Quiet Night, transiting Garan corridor. Advisory, maintain distance of 5 light minutes. This is a courtesy notice. Our patrol fleet commander received that transmission. He was a proud officer with 30 years of service. He read a message from one small ship, telling his fleet of 46 warships to keep its distance, and he interpreted it as a bluff. He ordered the fleet to hold position, and sent a response demanding that the human vessel identify itself and submit to inspection. There was no reply. They warned us. They were polite about it. They even called it a courtesy. We should have listened. The admirals are shouting now. They want tactical responses, fleet deployments, weapons research programs, new defensive formations. They want me to give them a strategy to fight this. My recommendation is 4 words. Do not engage humans. The room gets louder. They talk about Thyrene honor, about 12,000 years of dominance, about the absurdity of yielding to a species that has existed for a mere blink compared to our civilization. I wait for the noise to stop. Then I tell them the thing I have saved for last. I saved it because I knew they would not believe everything else without the proper context first. The human vessel that erased our fleet, the Quiet Knight, is not a battleship. It is not a dreadnought. It is not a capital ship of any class. It is listed in the Terran Navy's public ship registry, which humans make freely available to anyone, because they simply do not care who sees it, as a light patrol corvette. A corvette is the smallest armed vessel in their fleet. It carries a crew of 18. By their own classification system, it is a ship used for routine border patrols and customs enforcement. I let that settle over the room like a cold fog. That is what their corvette did, I say quietly. I do not want to find out what their battleships are for. No one speaks. For the first time in my 43 years of service, no one in a room full of Thyrene military leaders has a single word to say. I leave the briefing chamber. The corridor outside is empty and silent. I walk to a viewport and stop, staring out at the stars. For 12,000 years, my people looked at those stars and saw territory. We saw systems to be claimed, species to be brought under our authority, borders to be expanded. We looked at the galaxy and believed it belonged to us. I wonder what humans see when they look at the same stars. I suspect they see something we never had the imagination to see. Something that gave them the knowledge to build a ship that can make a fleet simply stop existing. Something that made them name that ship, the Quiet Knight, and send it out on routine patrols. The way we would send a guard to walk a quiet hallway, not because there is any danger, but because that is simply what you do. I think about that name, Quiet Knight. I do not know if it is poetry or prophecy. I walk away from the viewport, and the stars remain behind me, silent and indifferent, the way they have always been. Somewhere out there, the Quiet Knight is still patrolling, and I have never slept well since.